Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beyond the Peloton podcast. I'm Spencer Martin, author of the Beyond the Peloton newsletter. I'm here with Andrew Vontz from the Choose the Hard Way podcast and Always the Hard Way newsletter on Substack. We're talking Vuelta, España, and if we burn through that in about 5 to 6 minutes, Andrew, we can always go on to the Quebec Quebec GP, the Canadian races. We have Quebec City today, Montreal on Sunday. I believe Quebec City is probably in the middle of the race right now. And Mountain Bike World Championships, which I'm quite excited about. But would you like to plug anything before we get going?
Christopher Blevins, second place at Short Track World Championships. Heck of a ride. If you want to check out my interview with Christopher Blevins before the Paris Olympics, you can go to the archives of Choose the Hard Way. And this week, I've got Payson McElveen, the most famous mustache in a world of many mustaches in the multi-surface off-road world. We get behind the mustache and we take about the hardest ride, the one you can't see. Find Choose the Hard Way everywhere that you listen. And of course, if you want to thrive in high stakes conversations like podcasts, panels, fireside chats, maybe talking to your boss in Q4 about getting that raise or that all hands presentation that you get a little bit nervous about, reach out to me. One Real Voice is my consultancy where I help you to thrive in high stakes conversations, learn narrative, storytelling, presence. You can reach me at hello@onerealvoice.com or at hardwaypod. Drop me a line. Spencer, exciting times. I want to dive right into it. In a team of giants and in a team of some departing giants, such as Juan Ayuso, we take a look at Jai Vine's performance in this Vuelta, and I think we have to ask, is this another potential Grand Tour winner who's now just stuck in a domestique role?
It's a very good question. Stuck or self-imprisoned in a domestique role?
Right.
So just a little background if people aren't familiar. So Jai Vine has won 3 stages at this Vuelta España. Or I guess 2 mountain stages, 1 team time trial. Rolls up to the time trial yesterday. This is flat 12K, like full power speed is all that matters. Filippo Ganna rips the course. Did you see this in he did the last 4.2 kilometers in 4 minutes. So over 60K an hour. Like that is unbelievable. Untouchable, right? No, Jai Vine rolls up, almost matches him, loses by a fraction of the second. Andy's maybe the best climber in the race, and it does beg the question, why is Jai Vine not a GC contender? What's going on here? But hints could lie, Andrew, on stages 17 and 16, key mount stages where his leader, João Almeida, desperately needed him at the front. I think on stage 17, it was like very windy. Almeida's distanced, has to pull himself back up to the lead group. Sure would have been nice to have a teammate there to do it for him, to be out of the wind. But Jai Vine was too tired from his stage win exploits. You see on stage, it was stage 15, where it was a flat stage. He went off the front, got the KOM points, decided, screw it. Me and one other guy, we're just going to rotate through for like 170 kilometers. And they get caught before the sprint. But it's like maybe not the best use of energy when you're there to help a teammate trying to win. But yeah, maybe Vine, I guess he's not consistent enough to be a GC contender, but I had the same thought of like, why is this guy not trying to win every Grand Tour he's in?
And I think you're highlighting this controversial area of, should your teammates be going for stage wins if you're João Almeida and you're going for the victory?
Not just stage wins, but seemingly every stage win. Like they've had enough. They've had 8. You think they would have their fill, and then yesterday in the time trial, they're second, they're third, they're fifth. They're all going for it.
Right.
It's like maybe and then today, I don't know if you saw it today. So they're going for these stage wins. They're definitely depleted. Today, this is the worst run team in professional cycling. I'm convinced of it. There is a time bonus. So they pull back 10 seconds. And you know how much money they spend on their TT setup? Like their TT setup is very fast at high speeds, partially why they had 3 in the top 5. They get 10 seconds. What a win, right? Now they're only 40 seconds off the race lead with a big mountain stage left. Well, they roll into the intermediate sprint today. They don't realize it. They're at the back. Oops, Jonas Vingegaard's at the front. He gets a 4-second time bonus. Now he's taken almost 50% of that time we took yesterday in the time trial. for free. And we probably invested $1 million into our TT setup to get that 10 seconds. So and then there's a split at the end and the crosswinds. Jonas Vingegaard's at the front. And then Almeida and UAE are at the back and they get caught out, have to chase back on. I've never seen anything quite like this. They are the time bonus thing. It's like, I don't really get what happened there. Did they not brief them before the stage? Did the directors not know? I think I described it to someone yesterday is the team. They're like, I can't believe the team's letting these riders do this. It's like the team is like the camp in heavyweights before Ben Stiller arrives. Like there's no structure there. They need a Ben Stiller to come in and whip them into shape.
What are you thinking if you're João Almeida at this point and you're in the middle of this shit show?
I think Almeida, I don't know, he's either a very good actor or he does not really care. He's just because it's so devastating for Almeida. They shortened the time trial from 27K to 12K, and he takes 10 seconds. It's like, well, how much would he have taken if they did the whole thing? And he's like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to finish the race. He seems a little checked out. So maybe Almeida's not, I don't know. I mean, maybe these guys don't even know what they're leaving on the table in terms of potential. And if they actually raced as a team, the interesting thing is you don't really see this when Pogačar is present. Like everyone falls in the line, but it does make you think that Pogačar is probably providing a lot of that rigidity, and it's not coming from the management class, because I've never seen anything quite like this.
Perhaps his peers see him completely as a peer and not as the leader of the team, even though he is the leader of the team in this instance. And with Pog, it's very clear who's leading the team. And if someone's going to go for a stage win, he has to provide his blessing. I don't get the feeling that João is giving orders on who's winning what. I think he's kind of being told this is what's going down, or the road is deciding as they are on the road. Not the road itself. This is an instance where the road itself is actually deciding what's happening during this
every
race.
day. The road decides anew who the leader of the team is. I won today. I'm now the captain. It also, I guess it shows you they've done a very good job of signing like young stars, but the limits of this are then everyone is a young fool and you have like no veteran leadership at all. I mean, it is just like every man for himself. I guess with Pogačar, I remember it was 2 years ago at the Tour. Ayuso doesn't want to work for him. Ayuso goes home, and then Pogačar says, I'm never racing with that guy again. So the message gets through in that case, but I mean, maybe they're just all too good that they think like, well, I'm the leader of this team. Well, Joao's not that good. I'm better than him. But I've never seen a team quite this disrespectful of, they're within 44 seconds of Jonas Vingegaard, who doesn't look very good. Like they could win this race and they don't seem to realize it at all. It's baffling to me.
I also have been thinking about this theme of disrespect, and I think that we have seen disrespect within teams during this race. I think we've seen total disrespect for professional cycling as a sporting endeavor overall. And I've been thinking a lot about whether there is any other professional sport where we would see people coming onto the field of play committing violence against the athletes themselves, and then it happening a subsequent second, third, fourth time without any real consequences. And there are a lot of
and they're kind of celebrated for it, to be honest with you, from a large part of the fan base.
Yeah, and I think today, perhaps more than any other day, given recent events, I think something has to happen to stop athletes being put in physical danger in our sport from the fans. It's unacceptable.
Well, did you see this guy? He was hiding in the forest, jumped out. It looked like he was just going to like tackle multiple people in the peloton. Trips, doesn't make it to the road, thankfully. But then Javier Romo crashes and then has to leave the race. It's like, well, how's that fair to Javier Romo? And it's like, I guess they would say, well, we're protesting Israel Premier Tech, but it's like, he's not an Israel Premier Tech. Doesn't feel focused at all. It's indiscriminate violence. I mean, if that guy would have made it on the road, it's possible he could have died, could have killed multiple riders. Like if you're just running into people going, Ghana in the final K yesterday was going as fast as a car on the highway. He's going over 40 miles an hour. So it's like, if he goes down, you go down. I mean, it's like running into traffic. But I mean, Andrew, you brought it up privately, but what would happen if 60,000 people stormed the pitch at a Real Madrid game? You would be like vilified, and legally too. But it just doesn't seem like, I almost feel like these protests are being almost encouraged by these, at least the local governments. It does not seem to be any, they don't take it seriously, but it's like people could get very hurt here.
People could get very hurt. The Ghana example is an interesting one because not only would Ghana be severely injured, had a protester stepped in front of Ghana during those final 4 kilometers yesterday, they may have been vaporized. They may have just turned into a mist, because not only is Ghana going as fast as a car in a city, he's roughly the size of a car in a city. He's a very large man.
More dangerous. Also, Top Ghana is not a nickname. What is like the Illuminati pushing this? Like now the announcer's calling him Top Ghana. Like that's what is that even in reference to? Top Gun? That doesn't really. Yeah. Okay, his name starts with a G, I guess.
I can't speak to this. I have very strong feelings on this topic, and I feel that we as a sport can do better than some of these nicknames that we're forcing upon these riders. This is a man he's downed pounds of ice slurry to cool his core temperature in pursuit of world titles, and we're going to demean him with this Top Ghana moniker.
It's unbelievable. Also, Ineos, good again. 3rd win of this race. 7 World Tour wins in the last 2 months. What do you make of that?
I feel they might be on the cusp of something. I'm very curious about what unannounced transfers we might have happening. And I know that we have one super fan of both the always the hardway.substack.com
super fan or hate listener to the show.
I feel like there might be someone inside the team listening to some of our thoughts on the direction the team might be headed in the future. Mikel Landa, I'm just saying, I think this is a Moneyball pick. I still feel like the dog's got some fight left in him if you need a strong mountain domestique over at Ineos in the 2026 season. Watch for that pick. And I will be curious to see what happens once we clear out some of the legacy riders. Very talented. I was watching Games with Names, I think is the name of the football podcast yesterday, and I was watching an episode with the host, and he talked about when he knew it was time to get out of the NFL. This is also very top of mind for me, Spencer, because we had Colin Allred, who's running for Senate in Texas on United States of Sweat. That episode's coming up soon. He played in the NFL, of course, and we were talking to him about injuries, and as he noted, he said, hey, in the NFL, there's a 100% injury rate. he's like, you just know that, and when you're young, you think you're invincible. It was a very interesting conversation. I'm very excited to share it. He also is a fan of professional cycling, and he mentioned Jonas's crash and the before and after, and just psychologically, as we've talked here many times, the impact that hitting the ground has. And I'm thinking about somebody like Bernal in this instance. I have such mixed feelings about his victory this week. I was excited to see it, yes. I also, as a fan of the sport, just overall, I'm so perplexed by all of the adjustments that have been made while the riders are out there competing. And in that finish in particular, I almost felt like they didn't know where the finish line was while they were
Landa
racing.
Landa definitely didn't know.
He kept sprinting, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he keep? I felt so bad for him. I mean,
did that remind you of
yeah,
like a town sign sprint?
It reminded me of a couple of, I can think of, I can also think of 2 instances in my illustrious career on the road, one on the road and one in cyclocross. I remember doing the Eldo training crit down in Long Beach in SoCal when I was trying to get my upgrade to 3. And I had the laps wrong. And with 1 to go, I thought I was sprinting for the win. I wish I had a power file. I guarantee I put out 1,500 watts for like 30 seconds. I went across the line. I thought I had won the race. And then I looked behind me to see that everyone was riding at a smooth 30 miles per hour. And then I had to sprint again. I did get second against someone who ended up catting up to 1 and becoming a pro. So by the commutative property, I'm basically a world tour athlete now, Spencer.
Yeah, that's pretty good to still get second.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine there's like someone that's actually a Cat 4 and you're like, what the hell's going on? Like these 2 guys are putting out 1,500 watts at the front. That's the beauty of lower division racing in the U.S. You mentioned Egan Bernal. You mentioned contracts they need to get off of.
Yeah.
You mentioned Egan Bernal. So Geraint Thomas, done. I actually found myself somewhat emotional. I don't know if you watched his last race, the Tour of Britain in Wales, last race. And if only because I'm like, I remember this guy going pro. Oh no, Geraint, what's happening? He's out of the sport now, but that's a contract they'll probably be happy to be off of, even though he produced at a very high level up until his second to last year. This year felt like the year finally reality kind of made sense. Like, you're not a podium Grand Tours at 40 years old. Egan Bernal, he has a contract through the end of next year, but that's like another World Grand Tour winner level contract they have that for a person that is no longer a Grand Tour winner. Interestingly, I heard he's stronger now than he's ever been. And he's nowhere near being able to compete on climbs against the best. Is he like an adjuncted stage winner specialist at this point? Because remember, he won the Tour in 2019 by attacking on the stage that got shortened, but they kept the time, like the time gaps. And then stage 16, stage 16, that was a joke. Like, as you said, they didn't know where the finish line was. And it felt like the peloton only heard moments before, like Tom Pidcock's attacking on the descent. And you're like, do you know that you're finishing in like 4 kilometers? Like, it felt really, really farcical. But yeah, you're right. Ineos, someone's got to come in. They need a Grand Tour contender. I don't think anyone at this point remembers the Derek G saga, but just to catch people up, Derek G maybe is leaving Israel Premier Tech. They're saying, no, you're not leaving. Ineos is saying, we'd love to have you. I disagree with, there's a very prominent voice in professional cycling that does not think Derek G is like a superstar of the future. I might have drank the G Kool-Aid. I think if this guy's doing this at a team that probably puts no resources into Grand Tour results, he might be like very, very good on a team that actually spends money to send him to altitude camps and whatnot. So maybe Derek G's the guy. I mean, I feel like I've been talking a long time, but also Red Bull. We got to talk about Red Bull. They might have someone they could peel off from Red Bull, but I want to know, what did you think about the Geraint Thomas retirement? Were you moved at all?
The thing that moved me the most was his Instagram post the next day with his signature line of beer and that he was already on the piss. So I just imagined him going from that finish. This probably happened. I'm wondering if I'm going to talk to some sources familiar, some people who are in the loop with Geraint. I'm wondering if he went straight to the pub and put down 13 or 14, as we know he likes to do.
He's probably up 10 kilos just since he finished that race.
Yeah. I think that this is the end of an era in so many different ways. I think that we can finally put to sleep fasted rides forever. I think that this is likely the last man standing in the peloton who had going to the pub for 30 straight nights in the off season as a key part of building for the next season. I don't think we're
Yeah.
going to see that again. And I also think that he had just like a certain zest for life that we don't see as much anymore in the world of professional cycling because it simply doesn't work in 2025, I don't think.
Also, the straightforward interviews. It's going to be a while before you see someone like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he is like, it's funny because he's a very wealthy man, like very rich. But he is like, he has a salt of the earth mentality
Right.
that the Anglophone media loves, right? It's like, that's catnip for the media, but it is like pretty endearing. You don't see many, it's hard to put your finger on. You do not see many cyclists like that anymore.
No, you definitely don't. The man is an actual legend. He achieved so much in his career. When you think back what he did on the track as an Olympian, as an individual, crossing over the road, being part of the earliest years. I wish I could find this. There's a Sky documentary where David Brailsford is riding at the Manchester Velodrome on a giant treadmill that's built for bikes, and it's like total like Drago mode. It goes up and down, and he's doing it in his limited spare time. If anybody knows what that film is, I can't find it anymore. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
No, I would love to watch this. I've seen one where like Bosenhagen's on that same one when he was on Sky.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I need to get one for the winter here in Hope, Maine, which looks like it's about to happen within the next week or two.
I was staring out, I was on a call just before I got here, and I was staring out the window at leaves turning. Man, it's like, it was 90 degrees yesterday. Why are the leaves turning? It's coming.
I'm looking at the apple tree right now, and the apples they're there, and so are the leaves changing colors. Spencer, going back to this time trial, something that struck me about this individual TT, as well as probably my favorite event in all of professional sport, the team time trial that we had earlier in the race.
It went off without a hitch.
And we did talk about this with the team time trial, and perhaps it's because the parkour was cut so substantially, which, by the way, I'm just a bit out of the loop. I don't really get why the course got cut.
Well, because they had to barricade it, and they had to like shorten it basically so they could secure they could have like police on the entire route. You think though, could they just have done 2 laps of it?
Right. Yeah, it feels like you could have done something. At any rate, when you look at the margins of victory, was so tight in this individual TT as well as in the team time trial. And we talked about this. It almost seems like the equipment, the time and wind tunnel, that these riders are approaching a terminal velocity. I personally haven't gone back and looked at, I don't know, early to mid 2000s time trial results, but I feel like it used to not be uncommon for someone to win by 2 or 3 minutes, or for there to be a pretty massive spread across the top 10 and certainly across the top 30. If we look at the results yesterday, the clustering around the finish time of the winner was quite tight within a minute.
Well, like, yeah, Mads Pedersen went through the final time check with 4K to go ahead of Ghana, and he finished 14th place. Like, that's how tight.
Yeah.
So he lost enough time in 4 minutes to finish 14 spots down. Very, very tight. We should say, I think there's a couple things. I think, yeah, what you're saying is people are now so fast, they're reaching that the slow riders are able to ride so fast that the difference between the very fast riders is less, because you can't really start generating speeds over 42 miles an hour. Like, at some point, the wind resistance is so great, it would take such a massive amount of watts to overcome that. But I'm even just going back to 2023 Tour de France. I rode this course recently, so I just in the top of my head. 23-kilometer time trial. Jonas wins it by almost 2 minutes over Tadej Pogačar. But it's a very hard course. So, like, I think it's kind of unusual to have such an easy course be your final time trial in a Grand Tour. And also, I don't want to say this race has been easy, but it's very repetitive. And I don't know how much fatigue is like in the riders. Like, you look at a lot of these, went back, there's only a few stages that have been over 4 hours long. Like a lot of them are between 3 and 4. And with every stage being an uphill finish, there's such a rhythm they fall into. This is probably why you shouldn't just have every stage be identical to the stage before it, because there's no dynamism to the racing. So I think you did have a lot of fresh legs come into this. Like Ghana, I mean, to be stage 18 of a Grand Tour and he averaged 56K an hour for this time trial. So like he's just been back there chilling, clearly. Like not nearly the fatigue that you would normally have in the legs in a Grand Tour.
Two of my favorite subplots in the TT were the Jai Hindley, Tom Pidcock battle.
Yeah.
Right?
But both going so hard. 22nd, 23rd place overall.
Yeah, separated by
3 seconds.
3 seconds and digging into the results. So we don't reach a 1 minute delta in finishing times until we get to 51st place with, I'm not going to pronounce this name correctly, Brick Roland.
I think, yeah, Brick Roland, who's actually breakout star of this race. This guy's very good.
And then another interesting subplot was Matthew Riccatello, Felix Gall, separated by 4 seconds. That was an interesting one. And
Riccatello, that guy can truck in a time trial. People don't realize it, but
yeah, and when you look at the difference in the frame of Riccatello versus Ghana, honestly, it blew me away. Like how someone Riccatello's size is. I mean, what did he finish? He finished only 36 seconds down on Ghana. That's pretty mind blowing to me.
Like a guy moving as fast as a car. I still can't believe Jai Vine finished within a second. I mean, the Jai Vine thing, but it was fascinating because he was the second favorite in the betting markets. Keep in mind, he's never beaten Ghana in a time trial. He very rarely beat João Almeida. So you're like, how did the betting markets know that he was going to be this close to winning? I'm not suggesting impropriety. I'm just, someone had some information. Like that's not random.
Yeah. Pretty good.
You've laid me up. I cannot. Also, this is just interesting thing I noticed. Like Matteo Jorgensen, big star, right? Big American star, finishes 20 seconds back. I had never heard of this guy before. Andre Pierre Cote finishes in front of Jorgensen, 28-year-old Canadian. Just shows you there's like a lot of good Quebecois riders just hanging out there that you never really hear about. Like this guy, I went back and looked at his results. I think Tour de Beauce 2018. He's 21st overall. And then you look at the top, it's like Jack Burke, our friend, is 4th. Rob Britton, Alexei Vermeulen. And then that shows you, kids, just keep working. This guy finished 9 minutes back, and then now he's laughing. He's top 20 in the final time trial at the Vuelta España. You got to keep improving. Speaking of improvement, Red Bull-bora-Hansgrohe. They win. Giulio Pellizzari, 21 or 22-year-old Italian, one of those two ages. He finishes 58th. Not a great day. No. I'm looking at not a great. No, I'm looking at the wrong year. I'm looking at the wrong race. I'm looking at the Tour de France. Was Pellizzari really at that race? But he finishes. I'm floundering here, folks. I can't believe I left that page. But he is in 5th place overall. He's in front of Riccatello. He's probably going to win the white jersey. He wins the day before, the summit finish. I would ask you this, and Jai Hindley's 4th. If Remco Evenepoel was here, would he be in the top 5 overall?
No, he would have left the race by now.
Yeah, there's no way he would be in he's just not a good enough climber. And yeah, he would not be at this race. He would have gotten off his bike and left. He didn't win the Tour of Britain. Not a good enough climber for that. So it actually, if you really start to think about it, with Jai Hindley, Giulio Pellizzari, Florian Lipowitz, Primož Roglič, it's not inconceivable to say that Remco Evenepoel's the 5th best stage racer at Red Bull right now.
Right.
That seems like a problem, especially since Pellizzari is this guy, I don't think people will realize how good this guy is. He came onto the scene in 2023 when he beat Isaac Del Toro, who maybe is the best rider in the world right now. He has been not able to stop winning races since the Giro d'Italia, but he beats Del Toro, final stage of Tour de l'Avenir. 2024, he's on your favorite team, VF Group, Bardiani, CSF, Fianza. shows up to the Giro d'Italia, almost wins one of the hardest mountain stages, is passed by Tadej Pogačar in the final few meters. So he's like, no, disappointing, but I'm going to join a new team. I'm going to show up to the Giro d'Italia again. Finishes 6th overall. And then, what did we hear? Well, Juan Ayuso, it's not fair to him that he had to do 2 Grand Tours in a season. He wasn't prepared. He's too young. Well, this guy's younger than Juan Ayuso. Shows up to the Vuelta. He's going to finish 5th overall. Like, him and Florian Lipowitz are legitimate breakout GC stars. Frankly, I don't know where Remco Evenepoel fits into this team at this point. And Jai Hindley appears to be back.
Yeah, for some reason, Spencer, this is just making me think about one of your favorite thinkers, Ray Dalio.
And me and Ray share a love of Xi Jinping. And,
love of totalitarianism. Ray Dalio is a big advocate, though, of seeing things as they are. And I think as we think of this Remco situation, people are seeing Remco as he was when he came on the scene. And is Remco one of the very best riders in the world? Yes, he's in the top 5 for sure. Is he a Tour de France winner? No, I don't believe that Remco is a Tour de France winner. And I think that it is unfortunate that Red Bull has made this decision to bet its future on a fantasy from the past. And I think that they're going to pay the price for this. And I just keep thinking they're headed for a Vuelta 2023 situation, probably at the Tour 2026, because Remco's past his one day. Maybe he's got to do it. Next year has to be the year, is what I feel like. What do you think?
I mean, he's the same age as Tadej Pogačar. People are talking about Pogačar retiring.
He's washed. Pog is washed.
Still they're like, Remco, we'll see what he does in the future. It's like, he's a half decade older than this teammate who's going to top 5 this race. Actually, this is where Ray Dalio can have a lot of wisdom, where it's like, let's look at how this is. We should say he's an amazing one-off, one-day racer. Like, I'm thinking of Olympics road race. That was incredible. Also, think he's just comes out of training camp and wins the Bronsapeel. We'll all remember that race. Who doesn't remember the Bronsapeel every year? Then gets 3rd at Amstel. But then, frankly, his season's kind of been downhill since then. Like, he's very good at targeting specific one-day races. I just don't think he's consistent enough to be a top-tier stage racer, and I think the results would bear that out. Like, sure, in the past, I got pushback when I said that during the Tour, because it's like, well, he won the 2023 Vuelta. Well, it's like, well, I'm talking about right now. Like, 2023 is in the past. Sorry, he won the 2022 Vuelta. Holy smokes. He was uncompetitive at the 2023 Vuelta, which I think was when a lot of these problems kind of became evident, where he just kind of got dropped. If you're not a good climber, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to win a lot of stage races in modern cycling. I just don't see the path. Like, if everything has to be perfect for you to be a good climber, you're going to struggle against a lot of these, I don't know, I think Jonas Vingegaard looks terrible at this race. There's almost no chance he's going to get dropped on any of these climbs. Like, that's how good he is. That it's like he is not anywhere near his best, and he's still able to at least sit in the wheels with the front guys in the climbs. And then, I don't like these top GC guys are such naturally good climbers. Like, I don't see how you can compete with. Even think of João Almeida. You wouldn't consider him a great climber, but he won the hardest climb of this race. He's been there every climb of this race. Like, I don't even think Remco Evenepoel is on his level.
Yeah, certainly not. And it just, what is the future at Red Bull is one question. So many interesting wild cards with the GC picture outside of Visma and UAE next year. And I just feel like the answer to the problems of all of these other teams, it's not Remco's. It has to do with finding a way to poach riders from Visma and from UAE, and then finding an 18-year-old who can do it in 2 to 3 years.
Uno X just signed a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, I people clown it, but that's how it's going to have to be. Because if think of Ineos in 2019, you've just won 7 tours in 8 years, I believe. And then you're like, wow, we're the best. But they had already lost and they didn't realize it because these guys like Pogačar and Vingegaard had been signed by their rivals too young for them to realize it. And then they've already lost the war. They don't even know it. Also, should we say, speaking of Ineos riders that are no longer there, Thomas Pidcock, he's going to get third place at this race. He's looked incredible. Like he lost a little bit of time early on, but man, on stage 17, he looked like the strongest GC rider in the race. Like this guy, color me impressed with Tom Pidcock. Did not know he was capable of this.
Yeah, Tom Pidcock, impressive. Again, Pidcock he's 26, correct?
Thomas is 26.
Tom is 26.
Everyone is 26, basically, in pro cycling. Like João Almeida, Tom Pidcock.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, though, the idea that, I mean, he said he wants to be a stage race winner. I think that he's showing he has the potential to win some kind of stage race at this Vuelta. You have to think, though, Spencer, this has been on my mind a lot lately, and I hate to spring a surprise on you here while we're talking to tens of thousands, perhaps 100,000 listeners around the world.
Millions.
With such deep knowledge of the sport. I recently ran back the tape, which is something I'm hoping that we do together soon for a Rewatchables episode. And I rewatched, what stage was this? Stage 6, 2019, Tour of California, Mount Baldy.
Is that Tadej Pogačar?
Who wins? Tadej Pogačar wins.
I remember that. Yeah, that was impressive.
So just think about this. We're talking 6 years ago, Pog was destroying the best riders in the sport. And at that time, he destroyed Richie Porte as well as TJ Van Garderen, who's now moved on to a DS role at EF. And that's how long Tadej has been coming out and making it look perhaps not easy, but doing it in such a freakish manner. This guy has been doing this for a long time now. And just imagining some Johnny come lately popping up at the tour in 2026 and knocking him off his pedestal, unless Pog gets bored of doing this. And we do know he's wearing the "Don't Photograph Me" jersey. Never a good sign when you're riding around with that in Slovenia.
No.
Yeah. But that's how long Pog has been doing this. And he came on the scene and just started doing this thing we'd never really seen another rider do before.
Yeah, in retrospect, all the signs were there that he'd be really good. I mean, later in that season, it's funny, Bradley Wiggins loves to talk about this 2019 season a lot of Pogačar. You guys clear aficionados. He goes to the Vuelta, so he wins California, goes to the Vuelta. I remember thinking, like, yeah, California, like, whatever, no one's trying. Goes to the Vuelta. He wins this guy's a teenager, wins 3 stages, finishes 3rd overall, first ever Grand Tour, and then rolls up to the Tour next year and wins. Like, and he's significantly better than he was then. That's what's crazy. But
yeah,
I actually went back. So Tour de l'Avenir, now you got me this is a fun rabbit hole. Tour de l'Avenir 2018, he wins. 2nd place, Tymon Arnsman. 3rd place, Gino Mader. 4th place, Alexander Vlasov. Like, all the guys are here. Clement Champuzan. João Almeida, 7th. Jonas Vingegaard's in this race. And Jonas Vingegaard's 2 years older than these guys. 66th overall.
Grandpa.
Why didn't Jonas just use those climbing legs there? I don't understand that. But then I went back to, I think it's the 2016 Junior Championships of Slovenia. So you click on that. Where do you think Pogačar would finish in that? Junior Championships, Slovenia. Best rider of all time.
What year is this?
2016.
4th.
Finishes 6th.
Okay.
Not a single other rider in that race is a professional currently.
That's not that surprising.
And you think, like, and there's all this pressure to sign people that are the age Pogačar was when he got that 6th. It actually shows you how hard it is, because you're like, who would look at the guy that got 6th at Junior Nationals and say, like, you know what, that guy's going to be the best rider of all time. It just shows you how important, like, continued improvement is, just every year being better than the year before.
Yeah. You know who I'm thinking about right now is Logan Owen, who, where is he now? He retired in 23. He was a cyclocross phenom, right? Am I thinking of the right guy?
No, you're thinking of the right guy.
Yeah. And so I think he won a semi-classic shortly after coming out of cyclocross, but then to keep going higher and higher to become a Paris-Roubaix winner, a Flanders winner, it's not necessarily a linear path. And what we saw with Pog was exponential improvement, and then he just stayed at that level. And or he didn't stay at that level. It keeps getting higher
better.
and higher. It's I don't think we've ever seen a rider like this before. Yeah.
Yeah, like think he wins 20, wins 21.
Yeah.
Loses 2 in a row. Not many people come back from that. And then he's just like, you know what? You know how it would be like kind of tired on climbs? I got rid of that. I'm actually going real fast on climbs. Like, whoa. He did change coaches. I do think that had a lot to do with it. I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't want to be slinging the mud, but
yeah.
Tom Pidcock, impressive. I will say just nothing but positive things about Tom Pidcock. But if I could nitpick one thing, he keeps saying, so like on stage 17, Pellizzari rides off the front. Like everyone watches him. Then they can't chase him down and he wins the stage. And Pidcock's like, oh, it sucks to sacrifice the stage win for GC. It's like, what, excuse me? Like Pellizzari's in the GC. Like, can you walk me through how you sacrificed the stage win? He could have just gone and won the stage probably, right. But maybe he's saying he's marked because Jai Hindley would have followed him and then it's too difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. Pidcock, I agree with you. Breakout ride in this tour. Equally, he does continue to say some things that, to me, don't have a high degree of correlation with reality.
I don't know if we talked about this, but he sadly gets robbed of a stage win against Jonas Vingegaard. I mean, how many people have beaten Jonas Vingegaard on GC stages? Not very many. Potentially just Tadej Pogačar in a Grand Tour. So it's like another one of these like, oh, sorry, we're not finishing the stage because there's protesters. And he's like, as protest to the protest, he just keeps riding through to the original finish line. And they asked him about it. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. That's just like a Tom Pidcock thing to do. like what? What does that mean? It's like a funny amount of self-awareness.
Wow. That's pretty good. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Wow. That's something else. But to your point, Spencer, we have so many stages that are shortened. We had the bizarre Mikel Landa, Egan Bernal sprint for, I mean, I just, in that instance, felt like, could they not have had somebody there waving a flag, or could they not have gone up the road and spray painted a line? It was nothing. It was just the 1K to go marker on the side of the road. And it was fairly indeterminate. What was the actual point on the road that was the finish line?
And there was like someone chasing behind, 7 seconds behind. But you're like, you know, if you know you're chasing to the finish line, you're going to chase differently than if you're chasing. It was 8K to go. It's like, maybe that guy's feathering his effort. And then it's like, oh, wait, the race is over? Like, apparently they did vote after that stage that if there was another shortening, they would just call the stage off, which I guess kind of makes sense. Because as you said, it was it's just happening so fast. It's so shoddy. I mean, I don't want to get too much in the protest, but I actually am quite negative on how this is going to affect the future. Like someone Instagram messaged me that like it kind of reminds them of Occupy Wall Street, where it becomes like just a big movement that people do. And so you're like, man, like actually now that I think about it, like is all of next season going to have protesters in the road? And like you actually really can't do much to stop it. Like once people want to do that, which is concerning to think about.
Yeah, cycling has always been a soft target. The field of play is open to the public. It seemed dangerous for a long time, and a lot of bad things could happen. And at this point, with these surprise cancellations, shortenings, etc., it made me think of Greg Glassman's original definition of CrossFit, which is increasing work capacity across a wide range of times and modal domains. What happens when you don't know where the finish line is in an event? Honestly, it's like Joe DeSena, creator of the Spartan Race, who I've also had on Choose the Hard Way, and I've been on Joe's podcast if you want to check those interviews out. The Death Race famously is composed of unknown events, such as sitting in a pond literally covered with ice. They have them like sledgehammer through the ice, and then they're like, get in, and then they don't tell them when they can get out, is a for example. When you don't know when it's going to stop or the finish line is arbitrarily moved, as you noted, you're going to meter your effort very differently. And it's almost an entirely different sport or competitive experience at that point. And I don't think that's good for a professional sport.
No, it's like, should you always be off the front because the race could end. This is a classic Midwest and Colorado crit move too. Like thunderstorms are moving in, and if there's a lightning strike, they have to end the race. So it's like the real pro move is if you see that coming, go off the front at the very beginning. And then it's like, I only have to stay out here for 3 laps. They're going to neutralize the race. And then I've won, baby. I've seen this happen so many times. It's like, what exactly have you won? Doesn't matter. I won. Life's about winning, whether it's 5 laps or 100 laps. I want to ask you this before I do have to head out, unfortunately. There's a guy in this race. His name is Abel Balderstone. What country do you think he's from? If you hear that name,
I'm
like a very Anglo name.
I'm going to go with Slovenia.
I would guess like deepest Wales.
Okay.
This man's on Cahural. He's from Spain.
Okay. Nice.
He's a Spanish guy. I would guess his father must be British, but like Abel Balderstone, like the most British man in the world. And he looks British, but he's Spanish on Cahural. This is my secret entertainment. Every day I turn it on, and I'm fascinated by this man's name. We should also mention Mads Pedersen is going to win the points jersey. If for those of us with amazing memories, you remember the Giro d'Italia and that he won the points jersey there. And I believe he's won the points jersey at every race, every stage race he's started this year. So pretty good. Not a bad year from Mads Pedersen. Do you think he's going to make the Tour team next year?
He's going to the Tour. Somebody's going to need to deconflict the battle space on that one, which we covered in the previous episode. Yeah, that's going to get real nasty. Send him over to Unbound for a mid-season break. Let's get this guy a bit of press coverage finally. Let's figure out what width tires he runs.
And like, actually, crazy thing about Pedersen, so very good on stage races. And then it's like, you look at his classics results: 3rd at Roubaix, 2nd at Flanders, 1st at Gent-Wevelgem, 2nd at E3, 7th at San Remo. I mean, he's as good as the best of like Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert. Like Mads Pedersen is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. What's also unbelievable, but also kind of believable, Keegan Swinson's victory at Marathon Cross Country World Championships last week. Spencer, I have this sneaking suspicion that I think we're going to see a showdown between Keegan Swenson and Mathieu van der Poel at the Gravel World Championships. This time,
Do we know where it is?
I'm not actually joking. I think this is really going to happen, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting pairing. Because
I don't know if Keegan is on Van der Poel's level.
We'll see. It'll be interesting when we see Keegan gridded in such a way that he's not starting in 700th position or wherever he was in prior editions.
He didn't go last year, right? I think he skipped it last year.
I think he skipped it last year, but the year that Van der Poel won, let's look at those results real quick. That would have been, I feel like it was 22.
Definitely there was the first year they had it, and he finished like 6th. Remember with Valverde?
Yeah.
And it was a really strange.
2020.
He finished 5th. Right. Mohoric won. He finishes. It was like in a vineyard, like up and down, super vertical. Van der Poel won last year. The year before was Gianni Vermeersch, if people remember him. This year, where is the race? Because that matters a lot.
Yeah, this shows you how big this event is. There are no results anywhere for prior years.
It's in Maastricht, which is a quite hilly area of the Netherlands, but I don't like Keegan's chances in the Low Countries against.
All right, yeah, that's perhaps true. Maybe Keegan got 2nd or 3rd the year Mohoric won, I think, but
he definitely got 5th.
Yeah. Anyway, he had some incident related to course design is how I would characterize what happened to Keegan that time. But I keep thinking it's probably way too late in his career. Just Keegan absolutely, I think, could have been a Sepp Kuss level super domestique. And the guy just has such a remarkable level of humility and calmness for someone with his level of athletic ability, and is so gracious both in defeat and victory. And yes, we're talking about the Vuelta today, but I just really think Keegan is quite a sportsman, and I'm very happy that he has a world champions jersey now. It will be interesting, Spencer. Where do you think you can wear that world champion stripe?
That's a great, great question. I don't know. I mean, I guess all those marathon mountain bike races, because he can't wear it. Can he wear it at the at the Lifetime Grand Prix?
Surely not, because that's gravel. However, when he races in Schwamigan, right, is he going to be able to wear it in Schwamigan? Because I don't know what the actual definition is of a marathon mountain bike race, but maybe more than 25 miles.
Man, so Keegan, this is a good thing to bring up. So Keegan wins marathon mountain bike worlds. Do you know how long that race was? I had no. I was like, I don't know, what is this? 2-3 hours? 7.5 hours.
Yeah. It was a long race. It had 17,000 feet of climbing, and there is an amazing clip somewhere on the social media that's out there showing Keegan doing a bike push in the middle of the race. And if you've ever raced mountain bikes or done any marathon mountain bike racing, I've done the Pisgah mountain bike stage race twice. And in that race, there are sections of the race where you're pushing your bike for quite a while. And every time that I do it, I always think, man, I don't think Kerry Werner, who's won that race a number of times, I don't think Kerry's probably pushing his bike here. There's footage out there of Keegan in the middle of mountain bike marathon world championships pushing his bike. So stars like us, and great interview with Keegan on Trainer Road where they go through the data from the race. And he said he was pushing it at a VO2 max heart rate, and that's actually part of how he created this separation. So imagine doing that at 9,000 feet, I think like 4 hours into the race, the next time you're bike pushing.
A loop I want to take you on in Boulder. I've only successfully ridden it without dismounting one time.
Okay.
And I rode it recently. If you ever need to get in shape, just do it 7 days in a row. You'll be best shape of your life. I did it recently, and I was at 177 heart rate walking my bike. Like, that's how hard the walking section is. So I'm dying to know if you could ride this unencumbered. Certainly Jonathan Kaplan could. Wouldn't even be difficult for him.
Yeah.
But I want Andrew Vontz to take the challenge. Christopher Blevins, by the way, I'm looking at this. I had forgotten how good he was this year. He won the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 World Cup short track mountain bike races.
Had a good season. Yeah.
Blevins, very good. Also on Keegan, could he be a great road pro? Certainly has the physiology. I guess at that point you're learning a new sport. He's 31, probably won't do. He's got a pretty good life right now. But here's this is if you need engagement bait in the middle of winter, Johan and I discovered this is a great one. Could Keegan still win Leadville if, like, Pogačar, Vingegaard, Tom Pidcock, Van Aert, Van der Poel all show up? Remco, of course, would.
Yeah. Everything changes above 8,000 feet.
Well, I don't think they could win if they came straight from the Tour. So in this hypothetical, they would have to be skipping the Tour de France to live in Leadville. You start to get a little far away from reality at a certain point.
Because you can't even do a volcano camp for this. You have to be around 10,000 feet. I suppose
like borderline like Frisco, which is a wonderful town, which is not that far from Leadville. Probably wouldn't even be high enough.
Yeah, you could base in Breckenridge. It's 9,600 feet, right?
You could. At that point, Leadville might be nicer. I don't know. I don't enjoy Breckenridge that much.
Yeah, swing by Garfinkel's over in Vail, just make like a grand tour of it.
And then I just want to shout. So we have we have Van Aert Tadej racing right now. Then they'll be racing again in Montreal on Sunday. That's probably the more selective race. I've got intel from the streets of Quebec City that Wout Van Aert looks very dialed in. Everyone else was goofing around during the pre-ride. Van Aert dialed in. And then we've got the big show, Olympic XCO
Yeah.
mountain bike world champs. Saturday's women, I believe. Sunday is men. I'm frankly more excited about that than I am the final weekend of this Vuelta España, which I think Jonas Vingegaard will win.
And I think we talked about this last time. Where are you at on Van der Poel winning?
You know, I didn't think he would be able to win. And I don't know if you watched this last one in Leger,
Right.
where he starts 60th and finishes 6th. And I probably should have finished a little higher than that. That's very hard to do. He looks pretty good. Like if he starts, I think he's going to start 4th row, I heard. I think he probably could win. He's just got a bigger engine than everybody else. Sounds simplistic, but he can just go real fast in a way that other mountain bikers can't.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a Mathieu van der Poel victory. And then there is always a non-zero chance. Is Pidcock having a great Vuelta? Is there a chance that we actually see Pidcock on the starting line at XCO World Championships? I believe
Pidcock
there is.
Would absolutely win it. I think the only person that could just hands down beat Van der Poel is Pidcock. And then I'm even wondering, is it against the rules? I know you can't race two overlapping road races. Is there a rule against, could he fly, take the Jizzy to Switzerland, race cross-country worlds, fly back and do the nighttime Vuelta stage on Sunday? I don't know. Something to think about.
It definitely could happen. I know that we need to go in a moment, Spencer. If you're listening,
Johan Brunel's going to be in this room if we stay in here any longer. We're going to get caught.
Yeah, but listen, I follow my Substack, please. Always thehardway.substack.com. I'm one of Spencer's recommendations, and you can also follow me at HardwayPod on Instagram. But most importantly, Spencer, I feel like we have a pretty significant update from Kip's Corner that we didn't get to today.
Oh yeah, there's a couple things on Kip's Corner. All right, go. You share yours.
Well, I think Kip brought the whole family out and got on the podium with a few teens recently.
Yeah, like
right?
a gravel. It's just a short 4-hour one-way drive along the Front Range. Finished on the podium of a gravel. Said he put out his best 1 hour and maybe 30-minute power as well.
Yeah, and I think subsequently one of the amazing things we discovered that's taken our friendship a bit deeper is that Kip not only has the Primal team kit head to toe, he also has the podium casual jersey. That's how I love Kip's confidence in that he went ahead. You know, when you're deciding what am I going to get from the team kit this year? Do I buy the shoe covers? Am I going to get the long sleeve, the rain jacket? Kip went ahead and bought that casual podium shirt, which I haven't seen a lot of riders do. I think that speaks to his level of confidence as he gets out there on the Front Range and related areas here in deep summer 2025. Kip, you are America's next top model.
I'm now looking at Kip's Pro Cycling Stats page, and now local races in Colorado are on there. Man,
wow. As they should be. Do they have the bus stop or the scratch ride?
No, and you know what? I think I might have won. I might have won the PCS season-long ranking if they did include the bus stop in certain years, to the detriment of my actual racing. But I was just thinking about this with Kip. He did a gravel race in Fort Collins this summer. Finished very high up, I think top 10, like with professional lifetime Grand Prix competitors. But I was just thinking, I was writing yesterday, I was thinking about this. So John Keller, who would be like, he's very good rider in Boulder, like classic local pro, like Brian Jensen. If he lived in Kansas, he's like, they're Brian Jensen, like the fastest guy anyone's ever seen. He is in the front group. And I watched this, they had a live stream with like Torben Reed and one of the other guys that are very good. And it's like not a steep, it's like a false flat descent on gravel. And these guys are so good. They just dropped John Keller on this descent. Like it was unbelievable. Like you don't realize how, because you think they're just like big engines, but like how technically skilled these lifetime Grand Prix riders were. It really like blew me away.
Yeah. Can't just go out to the Bud distributorship and expect to keep taking down those podiums.
Yeah. So Keegan, let's get you on UAE next year. Throw your hat in the ring. You're winning Vuelta stages. Let's make it happen, Keegan. Thanks, Andrew.